Hello all. My name is Ram Timalsina and I'm one of the group member of Team 2 for this class. And my team members are Rajit Avatani, Phillips Dickey, Doug Shakana, Thea Palance, Sunny Larifai, Isan Singh, and myself Ram Timalsina. And today we'll be doing product demo for our web app called GMUGO. So on this presentation, we will be covering introduction and product overview, product features demonstration, technology and development process, challenges and solutions, testing and quality assurance, testing coverage demonstration, and feature roadmap and conclusion. So let me start with what is GMUGO. So GMUGO is a web application designed to help George Mason University students and staff easily find the planned activities in DMV area. By offering personalized itineraries and cure activities, transportation options, and exclusive discounts, it aims to enrich the GMU community experience beyond campus life. It encourages deeper engagement with the vibrant local culture. And our app is the app we build is going to be very different from the Mission 360 and Google Map itself because it is very easy to use and it is especially designed for the George Mason University staff and students. With that, let me pass it to my partner Thea to talk more about features demo. Thank you.
All right, and for this next part of our presentation, we'll be covering some of the features we used for our web application to permit the functionality that we currently have on here with our whole itinerary generation and our interests being saved throughout reloads of the web page and navigating through different pages. So to start with, there's nothing of too much importance in the quick start page. So first things first, let's go to my itinerary, right? So if we come in here, you see it instantly greets you by saying personal information not set, because this is a version of the website that hasn't been populated with any user information. Right, so now you're going to go over to my info, and here we have a form that takes in the relevant user information that helps our program on the back end generate an itinerary, right? So I'm just going to fill in my information. I'm 20, George Mason University, male, and let's say I like karting, like you can see in the autofill there. I've been messing with it a little bit. I also like cars, and I like music as well. So then, as you can see, when you add an interest, it appears over here in this list, right? And then when I press submit, the form closes off, right? Except for interest. Interest stays open until you reach the maximum of 5. So now that we have user information here, you may be thinking, oh, but it's just saved in a form on this page, it'll go away. However, if I go to quick start and then I come back, all of the information is still persistent. If I reload the page, it's all still there, right? Even if I control shift R, still there, right? So what is happening here is we're basically doing a low cost, low effort implementation of a storage table or a database through the usage of the browser's local storage. So in effect, we're storing a cookie with the user's information, right? And so since nothing sensitive is being stored on this web application, this is completely fine. And it results in the data being stored as long as the cookie for this web page exists, right? In a future release where potentially sensitive information could be located on the website, or just in general to get it in a place where the data will exist in a more permanent state, we would use a database, but just due to time constraints and really a lack of necessity for this iteration of this application, we chose not to do that. But now, if we go back to my itinerary, you see that it's loading instead of saying that personal interest not set. So now what's happening in the background is your personal information was actually stored as an object in the scripting. And so all of this was then wrapped up into an API request using the Axios library out to OpenAI, right? And then From there, OpenAI, we have a Azure function on the back end that then parses the return from OpenAI and it returns it in a predictable and easily digestible uh, form for our front end to then make this itinerary for you. So if we go, or if we remember from my info, I put that I was interested in karting, cars, and music. So number one, karting tracks, music venues, car shows, go-kart racing events, concert halls. So these are all things that are relevant to what I put, right? Now, if I come here and I press reset, everything clears out. If I control R, everything's gone. Control Shift R, everything's gone. If I go back to my itinerary, it says personal information not set. So when you reset, it basically deletes the cookie for you. It removes it. So now I have the opportunity to create it again. So let's say I am 42 this time. I live in Arlington. I'm a guy. And let's say I like to golf. And let's say that's it. So now if we submit this, we go back to my itinerary, it's going to display a completely different list of activities because the OpenAI integration makes it to where essentially for however many interests we have, however many ways of identifying or adding uniqueness to a user, we can infinitely, well, not infinitely, that's a wild term, but we can largely send that over to OpenAI and it'll be able to handle it in a way that we can predict and make useful for our application. So as you can see here, it returns a bunch of relevant golf courses in the area for us to go to. So I think for this part of the presentation, you get the idea of how some of these features work. So now I'll hand it off to the next. Thank you.
Hello, I am Rajita Battina and I will now talk about the technologies used in this web app. GMUGO is a dynamic web application that seamlessly integrates various technologies to enhance the experience for GMU students and its staff in the DMV area. The front-end developed with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript powered by Bootstrap ensures a visually appealing and user-friendly design. The backend developed with Node.js and Express.js enables the seamless integration of Azure for efficient database management. We also used OpenAI and Groupon APIs to provide curated activities, transportation options, and exclusive discounts. The entire development process is streamlined through GitHub for version control. We then used Postman and unit and integration testing on Azure for testing and development. This ensures GMUGO is a sophisticated and reliable platform, encouraging the GMU community to explore and engage with the rich cultural offerings of the DMV area. Now my teammate Ishan will talk about the challenges we faced while building the project and the solutions we used to overcome them.
Hello, my name is Ishan Singh, and I will be going over the challenges that we faced in our software project and the solutions that we came up with. First, we had a lot of ideas for features in our software project, but the limited time of a semester didn't allow us to implement them all. We decided to prioritize quality over quantity instead of trying to include many features. We chose the best APIs to efficiently achieve our core objectives. This approach made sure that the features we did implement were well developed and functional. To our second challenge, we faced difficulty in using the Open API. We faced difficulty in using the Open AI API due to the fact that we had to learn a brand new API. We utilized all the tools on the OpenAI website, such as looking at tutorials and examples. Using other resources like YouTube, Google, Stack Overflow were also pretty helpful. We had to implement some prompt engineering to get a consistent return type that satisfied our needs despite accepting any parameters or interest. These approaches helped us tailor the API to our needs. I'll now pass it off to Sanu to go over the testing and quality assurance.
Hello, my name is Sanila and I will be going over the testing and quality assurance portion of our project. So, one of the technologies we use for testing is Postman, which is an API platform used to build and use APIs. We use this to create API calls and JUnit tests in order to make sure that API calls are being performed correctly. This was specifically used to test our third-party API endpoint, OpenAI. Another thing we used for testing is the packages included in Node.js Node Package Manager, the NPM. When we test through this, we can run a bunch of scripts and use packages as modules, as well as test through the command line interface with default NPM packages. The specific frameworks we used for this were Jest and Mocha. So one of the frameworks we used is Jest, which is an all-in-one testing framework with built-in configurations. Using this framework helps us reduce the need for additional libraries because Jest has its own assertion library and mocking system, as well as its own test runner, which makes it easy to write tests without having to add more libraries. In terms of our project, we are using Jest to test the higher level functions with mock data. Mocha is another framework that we're using. Mocha is more flexible and extendable because we can choose which libraries to include and work with. Mocha is a test runner, so it doesn't perform assertions and mocking on its own. This is actually helpful for us since we can separate testing and assertion. Mocha is also widely used, so there are a lot of resources available for it, and it's suitable for many different environments. We use Mocha specifically to test our API endpoints, and the fact that testing and assertions are separate is advantageous to us since we're using Supertest, the HTTP request library, and performing assertions separately. Now we're going to switch to a demo of running our tests with the two Node.js frameworks. We're going to do our Jest tests, which test inputs and outputs like JUnit. This is for our higher level functions. And yeah. And these all pass, and then we'll go up a directory. And now we're going to test our API endpoints, which with integration testing using the Mocha framework. And yeah, that's all. So this is a successful display of our OpenAI testing through Postman. As you can see, some of the sample tests as well as the successes. And that's it.
Hello, my name is Thea Planas from Team 2, and now I will be doing a tour of our website, as well as talking about some front-end design decisions we made. So as you can see, we have our front page of our site opened, and at the top, we have our product logo at our header, and below that, we have our navigation bar. We know that users will typically expect a product logo and navigation bar at the top of the web page, so we made sure to design our product with that familiarity in mind. One of our tabs is titled Quick Start, making the user think to go here first. So as you can see in our Quick Start page, we introduce our product as well as our team and what our product offers. And then at the end, we have instructions for the user telling them to navigate to the Itinerary tab to start using our service. So let's move to our Itinerary tab. And as you can see here, our personal information is not set yet, but we have a tab in our navigation bar titled My Info. And if we click on it, it brings us to a page where we can input information such as our age, the location of where we want to go, gender, and a maximum of 5 interests. I'm going to add in using this add interest button right next to the input box. And I'm going to add, let's say, music, coffee, and let's say sports. Then once I have a maximum of 5 interests, I'm going to click on submit. And once that's done, I'm going to move back to the itinerary page. Now we wait for it to load. So now we get a list of an itinerary set based on the personal information that we inputted. If we go back to my info and then we click on reset, it resets our personal information as well as our interests. So if we go back to my itinerary, it says that it's not set yet. So if we don't like any of the itinerary that was already made for us, we can change it and get a new set of events.
Hello, I'm Daksha, and finally, we're going to be talking about the potential future implementations of our product. So, first off, we are very proud of our product and what we've able to achieve this semester. But if we were able to continue development, we did have some features that we had in mind. And first would be some virtual and hybrid event options. This would be really cool, as a lot of these students in this area do commute, and they can still partake in such activities even though they're not in the area like actively, or they can participate. I think there's a lot of growing trend where remote and hybrid activities are a good option that would entice users, like hybrid escape rooms. And next, we wanted to include more language and accessibility options in our personas and scenarios document. We talked a little bit about how one of the personas would be international students. So we wanted to broaden and reach their audience by allowing having multiple language options, and this would make them feel a little bit more like home, a little bit more understanding, and being able to navigate the area more easily. And also accessibility features with users with disabilities as well. And next we have extended geographic coverage. So originally we were going to use a radius to kind of determine what is the DMV and what areas, but we ended up hard coding or choosing, I guess, some of the locations that we would go with, and that included 5 cities. In the future, we would want to expand to more cities in the Fairfax County area, Prince William County area, and the Loudoun County area, and even behind that, because I feel like a lot of the cities we included were in Virginia when our original product was to be in the DMV, so we should include something from Maryland and DC as well. And this would also bring in participants or users from other universities like Georgetown or GW, and help them navigate their cities as well. And finally, we have personalized recommendation engine. So as with most technology these days or product these days, there is a lot of AI involved. And while we do have some AI in our product, we want to take it a little bit further and tailor activity suggestions based on past user preferences. So for example, if someone did go-karting, we can infer that they are a adventure junkie. So we can maybe refer them to activities like mountain climbing or skydiving, and that way it kind of learns what your interests are over time, so you don't have to spend much time looking through, per se, a list. And so those are some of the future implementations that we had in mind while we were working on this project, and we felt like it was very important to include. So in case, we want to take this further, that would be like a really cool idea. And so finally, we want to just say thank you for listening to our demonstration, and we hope that it explained how our product works effectively. Thank you so much.